My husband committed suicide.
Good for him. Because every death is suicide. Every death is. Every death is. Some are just more deliberate about the way they go about it. But every death is a response to that vibration between who they really are. And so let's talk about that. If everything that we say is as it is, and it is, it all is as we say it is, it all is as we say it is, it is. So as he's living his life, he's putting all of this into his vortex. And without meaning to, like so many, holding himself apart from his own vortex. When you've created a masterful vortex and you hold yourself so definitively apart from it, it is very hard to take. So one of two things happen. Either you find a way to find alignment while you're still in your physical body, or you find a way to find alignment when you're not in your physical body. But in any case, you find a way to find alignment. And everything that we were saying to you in that sort of hypothetical sense is our message to you that you could not have stood on your head in enough different ways to have made any difference whatsoever. It is not about you. 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 It is not about you.
I didn't help create it then.
Well, so did every other person on the planet. If the cat had stopped peeing on the couch.
What it created is my family fell completely apart. I have 2 daughters that are in a religion that if you're not in that religion, they have a hard time understanding you.
Almost every religion's like that.
Yeah.
In other words, let's just start there. Almost everyone has a hard time understanding almost everyone. And the reason for that is you did not say, I'll go into this time-space reality and I'll understand everyone. That would make you crazy. That's what Facebook is doing to you. You're so involved in everybody else's lives, you're completely unfocused about your own.
Yeah. Do I just let go, though, of my grandchildren? I have 8 grandchildren and 2 daughters, and I can't seem to get to a place where I can accept. I don't get to see them.
Here's the thing. Don't get to the place where you accept. That's like, we don't want you or anyone to ever get to the place where you accept that something that you want can't be. But something that will soothe you today, this minute, immediately, is if you can accept that you have a vibrational relationship with them that you can focus upon and get a feeling for all day, every day. And don't let the absence of the manifestation, just because the manifestation isn't the way you want it this red hot minute, doesn't mean that what you want does not exist. You got to focus unconditionally for a while. And it's our promise to you. When you focus unconditionally for a while, so that you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, feeling better, the universe will orchestrate a way for you to rendezvous with the things that you want. It must be, it is law. But that isn't what you've been doing. You've been focusing upon the reality that's tearing you up, keeping you from being in vibrational alignment with your vortex, with what you want. And so what you're getting is what you're a vibrational match to. It's okay, but it doesn't have to feel so bad, you see.
I get that.
How else are you going to sort it out? You're going to say, all right, well, you guys belong to a religion that believes a way that I don't. So something's got to change. Either you got to join me or I got to join you. And all of you stand there and say to each other, we're not going, we're not coming. And so then you say, okay, then that's got to be the end of it, because if we can't make peace in this one, we say, no, it's not the end of it. It's the beginning of it. Because in all of that discord, you're launching rockets of desire. You're remembering who you are. Do you know that as you came into this physical experience as these clusters, that not only are you eternally tied to these children and grandchildren, but all who have come before are also tied, and they are all non-physically focused and looking here too. In other words, to be in a place where you have cut yourself off from the attitude of love and you're using some bogus thing as your justification for it, you don't want to perpetuate that in them. You don't want to stand in resistance to them. You don't want to wave the red blanket in front of the raging bull and cause them more discord from who they are. If you love your children, and we know you do, and you love your grandchildren, and we really know you do, but if you love your children, and we know you do, and you love your grandchildren, and we know you do, and you love your children, and we know you do, If you love anyone, and we know you do, then your dominant intention is to help them as best you can find alignment with who they are. And opposing them and making them wrong and staking your claim and showing them where they're wrong is not the way to go about it. You just got to remember who you all are as source, and you got to remember how you felt when they were little, and how you felt when they got married, and how you felt and how you felt and how you felt. This is the best opportunity that we have ever seen. Not because it's big, and not because it's tragic, and not because it's a big burden. This is the perfect opportunity to discover not just the relief of unconditional love, but the power of it. When you blame yourself, you're walking around with this advertisement that says, I'm to blame, I'm to blame. And weaker people who haven't learned about focus and who don't really care that much about how they feel pick up on your vibe and blame you. So you keep getting blamed for stuff that you have nothing to do with, not because they're looking for a way to blame you, but because you have been carrying that around. Someone who feels guilty will attract someone who has a propensity to blame. It's this law of attraction thing. So what we want to help you to do is to acknowledge that you've been doing just fine, and that the source within you adores you, and that this person who made his transition into non-physical holds no blame whatsoever upon you or upon himself, because now he's in a place where he understands what's really going on. So as you relax little by little and get feeling better and letting yourself like yourself more in the natural way that you will, what happens is we may be channeling Taylor Swift. Haters gotta hate, 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 hate. Haters gotta hate, 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 hate. And you just gotta shake it off. Shake it off.
Thank you.
Because you cannot please them. You can't understand. The only thing that you can do is to come in alignment with your source. And when you do, the return to that steady, consistent love. See, the thing about relatives is that you got to catch them on a good day. The thing about source is it's always a good day. But you got to be in the vicinity of the good day that source is always flowing to you. So as you find these thoughts that are easier for you to hook up with source so that you become addicted to that connection, what will happen is you'll find yourself unwilling and eventually not even capable of focusing upon those thoughts that have been putting the resistance on your trail. And this is going to be hard for you to hear, but it's the reality that we want you to know. It's not the decision of your children that is keeping you from your grandchildren. It's the resistance that you've put on your own trail in response to what you think they mean or what you think they're saying to you. Feels like it's a reality that they are creating because these are demands that they're making. These are edicts that they are putting out there. But that's never what is really happening. Your response to them is just causing you to pile more and more and more stuff on your trail, on your path of least resistance that's preventing you from what you want. But as you get your attention off of that and on other things, that will begin to dissipate more and more. And then it will one day just feel logical to them. These children are not going to be that old before they begin requesting time with you. And in their alignment, their connection to source, their power of influence will be much greater. And that rendezvous is a sure thing. It's a done deal. It has happened many, many times in the vortex, and it will bring itself all the way to fruition. You've just got to stop being sad in the meantime. We really want to make that statement to anyone who wants anything that hasn't yet manifested. You got to stop being bent out of shape over the fact that the manifestation hasn't happened, because you're being uncomfortable about the fact that the manifestation hasn't happened is what's causing you to put all the stuff on the trail and preventing it from happening sooner. It's not possible for you to not get what you want. We just don't think you should have to croak in order to get your resistance to go away. That is extreme, but it works. But we don't think you should have to do that in order for your resistance to be away. You see?
The human mind is so powerful with memory.
The human mind is so powerful that you have the ability to use it to focus to your advantage.
And it's just not easy. At night, I'll lay down to sleep.
You know why it's not easy? Because law of attraction is responding to the momentum that you've got going. But as you try a little bit and focus elsewhere a little bit, that momentum will subside. Our story, you've heard it if you've been listening to us at all. San Francisco car, top of the hill, take the brake off, take it out of gear. Esther wanted to just push it just a little bit to see what would happen. Jerry advised against it. He knew what would happen, and so did Esther, but she thought it would be fun. She was teasing him. Come on, let's just see. Let's just see. Well, you know what would happen. The momentum would take it right into the bay. So Esther thought, well, let's just let it go a little bit, and before it gets going, I'll just stand in front of it, and it'll bump up against me. Jerry didn't let her even get that far. But she knew she could stop it before it really got started. You always can, can't you? You can always stop momentum before it really gets started, but once it's really rolling, you don't want to stand down there at the bottom of the hill trying to stop a rolling car. So don't ask yourself to be able to do the impossible thing. Don't stand at the bottom of the hill trying to stop a rolling car. Catch it in the earlier stages, just a little bit at a time. And before you know it, law of attraction will be working for you. It always is. It feels like it's working against you. Sometimes you say, it feels like my thoughts are thinking me rather than that I'm thinking my thoughts. But that's just the momentum of law of attraction. You've all experienced it. Have you ever had something under your skin bugging you? And you really don't want to talk about it because it's negative. But then you spill the beans to someone. And then you think you feel relief because you've vented. But now the momentum is just getting going. And then you think of more things. Now you feel bad about saying it. So now you think of more things to support what you said. And now, if they're patient enough to listen to you for a little while, now they got stuff they want to say too. Now you've really got this momentum going. And then you just sort of have to roll down the hill into the water, or have a good night's sleep, or meditate. You have to do something that helps you to release the direction of, or the momentum of. So when you say it's hard, we don't disagree. If you were to say it's not possible, we would not agree. If you were to say it's hard because law of attraction has hold of my practice thoughts, we would agree. If you say, but it can get easier because I can practice other thoughts, we would agree with that too. And so that's why we say, when you first awaken in the morning, while you slept, your momentum stopped. You didn't completely make the potential of the active vibration go away, but you have stopped the momentum. And when you wake up in the morning, you could start it in a different way if you cared enough about how you feel. So I have some questions for you. Do you believe that you have accepted feeling bad for the rest of your life as your, we don't want to use the word punishment, as your probability? Do you just believe that it is your lot in life, given everything that's happened, to just feel bad for the rest of your life? Do you believe that? Because a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking.
I really don't. It's more along the lines of, it feels like every time I get to that place, another tragedy happens. This is like the third, fourth suicide, drug-related death in my best friend. It feels like the world won't stop happening. Tragedy won't stop outside of me.
Does anybody have the statistics? You know how many people have died since we started talking? It's our fault, not yours. No. We just want you to understand that what you're calling death is a logical part of life. You didn't intend to come into these bodies and focus here always. And so we want to find a way that we can soothe the word tragedy and begin calling it logical reality. Begin calling it the response that different people are having to life. Begin calling it just sort of what's going on, to stand back from it. When Esther began visiting with us, it was hard for her at first to listen to or get her thoughts around our cavalier attitude about what you call physical death. But over time, we were able to help her to understand that the reason that we are light about it is because nobody ever dies.
Right.
The reason that we are light about it is because we are consciousness in full availability to all other consciousness. That when someone, no matter who it is, whether it's your beloved animal or whether it's your beloved mother or whether it's your beloved lover, it doesn't matter who it is. Anytime someone makes their transition, they are still consciousness, and now they are pure positive energy consciousness focused on you every single time. Those who remain in physical form after someone has made their transition are fully aware of you, loving you fully with no conditions attached. And so if you start tuning into that, you'll stop calling it tragedies. You'll say, oh, got another lift today, someone else died.